Now we welcome in our Titans insider, Rhett Bryan from the Titans Radio Network. So, Rhett, let's jump right in with this Tennessee team. 9-7 last year, and they won a playoff game, but now they got a new coaching staff in place. Is this team this year possibly better than last year's team?
Well, if you ask Las Vegas and the odds makers and the national pundits, they say no. But on paper, this team is clearly better. You mentioned the coaching staff. They hit an up-and-coming head coach in Mike Vrabel, an up-and-coming offensive coordinator in Matt LaFleur. They bring in the veteran Dean Pease out of retirement from the Baltimore Ravens to run the defense. They add key free agents and don't lose much in free agency themselves. So they're in a tough division as the AFC South is getting better, but I believe they are better than 9-7 this year.
Well, I want to start, you mentioned some of those coaching staffs. I want to talk about how they're going to impact the game on both offense and defense. Let's start with offense. How do you think offensive coordinator Matt LaFleur is going to use Marcus Mariota?
Well, Kristen, Matt LaFleur mentions three things that he sees in a quarterback that are necessary. One, being a natural thrower, and Marcus Mariota can make the throws. The consistency is the question mark there. Being fearless in the pocket is the second thing. He's shown the propensity to do that for sure. And then the third is the intangibles. And the intangibles are off the charts with Marcus Mariota. You saw what he did when he threw a touchdown pass to himself in the Kansas City wild card game in the playoffs. But certainly in this offense, I would think that you would see those strengths be played to. Run pass option, certainly read option, but I think heavy doses of play action. And that is where Marcus Mariota really excelled in 2017. 11.2 yards per average throw there in completion in play action. In fact, just a little better than Jared Goff at 10.6 yards per play. And we know that Matt LaFleur was with Jared Goff with the LA Rams last season. So play action, I think, is the key there.
And now on the defensive side, Coach Vrabel, as you mentioned, a defensive guy. They got Rashaan Evans in the first round. They were middle of the pack on defense last year. What are the expectations for that defense this season?
I would think it would be a top 10 type of affair there, Kristen, because you add key free agents. They added one of their own that was going to be a free agent in Daquan Jones, the defensive lineman, and bring him back on a multi-year deal. But they also bring in Malcolm Butler from the New England Patriots with a monster deal to go with an already talented secondary. And let's not forget, they still have Brian Orakpo, Derek Morgan, and Kevin Byard, and Jarrell Casey in this defense. I think top 10 is where you're looking at with this, because Dean Pease, we've seen what he can do with defenses in Baltimore and New England. I think that's where we're looking at. Definite improvement there.
And Rhett, as you said, this team looks to be better on paper. I'm sure there's a lot of excitement there about the ceiling for this team with these new coaches coming in. But is there a position that worries you at all before we head into camp?
Certainly an area of concern, Kristen, is the wide receiver core. As OTAs have started, it's been reported that Rashard Matthews, the elder statesman of that group now, has a mild injury that he is coming back from. And then the rest of these guys are very young. Coming into their second years, you have Corey Davis, the former 5th overall pick, Taywan Taylor, who was a 3rd-round pick, and all these other young guys in this receiving core. And we all thought in the draft that the Titans might take a receiver in the late rounds. They did not. They have a couple of undrafted rookie free agents in there like Deontay Burnett from USC. But that's an area of concern for me, is the wide receiving core.
I will keep an eye on that receiving core. Rhett, thank you so much for breaking down the Titans with us. We appreciate it.
Glad as usual. Thanks for having me.